Thought to make another video. I was kind of going through this memory bank and I thought of some new information about this porn star girl, Haley Spades. And right after I got raped, when I was 28 years old by the transgender, I was living at this guy named Marco's house, who was a homosexual, and he was supposed to be studying to be a nurse. And I don't know, worked at a bar. I don't know what the circumstances was, but I lived there for like 8 months. And when I was living there, I got this job opportunity within 3 or 4 months of me working there or living there. I got a job opportunity to work at a company called Sir Speedy, and it's a print shop, small, like mom and dad kind of print shop, and on Oaklawn, in downtown Dallas, which is a very unusual place to have a job, because I never had too many jobs in downtown Dallas, especially in that area, because the word Oaklawn is such a frequent name that gets, because they have like a lot of clubs and parties. Anyway, I got a job there, and I worked there for like 3 weeks or like a month. And when I was working there was a guy by the name of Chris, and there was this blonde girl that was old blonde looking lady that looked like Susie Molina, which is the lady that helped support me during my bone marrow transplant when I was 23 and I got sick. But at this time, I think I was working. Was I 28 or I just turned 29? I don't remember. I think I was still 20 because I got raped, and then I stayed like another month or two, and then I moved, and I couldn't remember where I moved. But I think it was, I think I did. And the holidays passed by, and then, it was like I was 29 years old. Anyway, I was working there, and this porn star girl by the name of Haley Spades, I went to Las Vegas and I took a couple pictures with her. I was kind of just uneasy about the situation because I don't know really what's going on, but I wanted to say there was a girl that looked a lot like her. I mean, I think it was her. Maybe it wasn't. Same height, same hair, same everything. And when I was working at Sir Speedy, she worked next door, and I think I want to say her name was Haley, or it was either Kaylee or Haley. But I remember she said she was 19 years old, and I was 29 years old at the time. And I remember I had to go next door to work there a couple of times. I had to go there next door and work, and like to do some large digital printing and some cutting on these poster boards, because they had more of the large format printing over there. And when I went in there, she worked at her own desk at the very front office, and all the people there were homosexuals. In the entire area where I worked, Sir Speedy's located on a gay strip, like all the gays. Like you literally walk up and down, and they own all the businesses and all. Everybody know at least for the last 20 years that I've ever been in downtown, there's a perimeter of the area, they just own everything. And it's primarily just for the gays to accumulate their relationships or whatever it is that they do there. And but I want to say that it was Haley Spades. Maybe it wasn't her, but I want to say it was. I don't know if it was, because I'm thinking, because when I was working at Sir Speedy, there was this one transgender person that kind of dressed like a tomboy, but kind of had like big breasts, but she was a female, kind of just like a guy though. And there was this Mexican guy that was kind of short, played the piano. He said he played the piano, was kind of short, and he was a graphic designer, along with the woman that looked like Susan Molino. And then there was a guy named Chris that I worked on. I worked on a couple of Docutechs, and then there was these two other guys. One guy named Scott, and this really old guy, really old. He was about to retire. He was like from Boston. He had a Boston accent. But I'm thinking to myself, obviously being infected with HIV and all this other chaos that was going on, and they had me trapped. I'm thinking, was that Haley? I could have sworn. I mean, it looked exactly like her. And the reason I say this is just everything about her looked exactly the same, like a twin. But I remember being at Sir Speedy, because I only got to go next door a couple of times, because I primarily worked at Sir Speedy. We only went over there because they had the large format printing there. But when I was working at Sir Speedy, one of the people that worked there for 20 years that was working at that company said, oh yeah, Kaylee, yeah, she works over there. And I don't know, and I'm thinking to myself, were they getting girls out of the porn industry way back long ago? She got out of that porn industry because I talked about that. I saw Haley Spades, what looked like to be her. I know it was her at the time. At least I think it was. At Walgreens in Carrollton, like half a mile from where I live, grew up. And I talked about that I had seen this person before. And I thought the way that her body language, she expressed herself and how she kind of tootled away, she did that same expression at Walgreens, and that same type of body structure, walking, body language she gave off vibe was the same exact and same look in the eyes when I went to Sir Speedy. And I remember she did come over a couple of times. She came over a couple of times to Sir Speedy to pick up some paperwork for some reason. And at this time I was pretty already shaken up by so many people around me, because there was just so much control. But I know she was straight. She was 100% female, like up and down. And I remember she drove kind of an old broken car, which is very unusual. She drove an old, like Mazda or Toyota Corolla or something, like a Camry. I think it was like a Toyota Camry, but it was red. And I remember, and it was like it didn't look kind of run down. It looked pretty broken down, but I thought, and it was like an older version of it. And I thought, what? It is very rare. It is very rare, if any situation, to find a girl like that. White girls and blonde girls of that caliber that are that pretty don't, they don't live poor lives like that. They don't. They do not live poor lives. They find ways to have a lot of money all the time. Either guys males that have a lot of money either give them free money, or it's gay men that give them free money just so that they're taken care of, so they have a better option of who to breed with because of survival situations. But I recall her, and I'm going to say it was her, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I saw Leanne in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, when I was at the psychiatric hospital, and then all of a sudden I go to London, like 3 or 4 years later, and I see her and finally go on a date, why wouldn't somebody else arrange for that to be Haley Spades? So I worked with her. I worked in the same building with her for a little while. She worked at the front desk. She really didn't do anything. She just worked at the front desk, and she only worked there, I think, like 3 days a week. But I remember her driving her car, because I'd go out in the back near where the garage was, and I'd smoke cigarettes. And I remember her getting in her car and driving off one day and down the alley, and it was in her car. and who knows, maybe it was a fake car, but a girl, because she looked really well taken care of. Her feet did not look busted. She looked like, it just, girls like that just don't end up broke. They don't. At 19 years old, you're gonna get somebody who's gonna give you a lot of money. There's no way a blonde girl like that it doesn't happen. It does not happen. And I want to say it was her, but I don't know. Maybe she, you know what I think? I'm thinking that maybe she got out of porn for some reason. Like she was in porn industry for like 3 or 4 years, and in those 3 or 4 years, she made like 100 videos, at least 100 videos, and then she got out. By the time I'm 28 years old, I wouldn't know that this girl, because she said she was 19. She did look 19 years old, but I don't think she was 19. Because it's the same thing that when I went to the porn industry, when I went to a porn convention called the AVN Porn Convention in Las Vegas, and I met some of the porn stars. When I went there, I asked her, I said, hey, have I seen you before? I feel like I've seen you before in Carrollton, Texas, yada yada. And I said, and she said, no. I said, how old are you? Are you the same age? And she goes, oh, I'm 21. And I could tell she was lying, like flat out lying. And I said, are you sure? I know that was you. Are you sure? And this other guy showed up and looked at her they knew she was lying. And so if she's lying about her age, then that was her. Because when I saw her over at that, I forgot what it was called. It was called flat printing line or some shit. I don't even remember what it was. But it was a next door print shop, but they didn't do the same printing. They did large format digital, like posters and banners and whatnot. It was different kind of printing. But if that was her, and you know what somebody told me? I think you know what she told me? What they said? This is, I think I want to say that her and her mother worked there. I don't know. I think that's what she said. I think her and her mother worked there, or her mom worked there for 20. She said her mom worked there for 20 years and got her the job there. I don't know. Obviously, I was 29. This is 11 years. This is a year. This is about 10 months after being raped. It wouldn't been a full year after I'd been raped. I was still 29. I just turned 29 years old. Because I remember it being summertime, and it was like around April of 2012, I think it was, or 2000. Yeah, it was like 2012 or 2013 of April. I was 29 years old. It was a few months after my birthday, so temperatures were kind of hot outside, and I don't know. What I think is that she got out of the porn industry. I think that whatever it is that went in her life, and I don't know what it was, how she could have been connected into the major porn industry and gotten into these high-level executive producers. She eventually got out and she made a normal life of herself, and I don't know what the situation. So, like I said, when I went to the porn convention, I wasn't there to rescue her. That's not what I was trying to do. I don't know who this girl is. I just was curious that, I seen you, and I just to talk to her, this wasn't like a romance lunatic cooped up person that you hear stories of stalkers. I don't have any interest. I'm old and I'm already HIV positive, but I didn't know what was tailing to me, and I was actually trying to ask these girls and tell them that I was beating the fuck out of with these electronic devices and all the stuff that was happening, but nothing seemed to be working. But I want to say that was her, because I remember they said her name was Haley or Kaylee. I want to say that, I think it was either Kaylee or Haley, but I'm going to say it was Haley. Haley, because I remember being at Surf Speed. I was like, hey, what's that girl's name over there? And anybody knows that when you ask for a girl's name, they can tell whether you're interested or not because you're looking for her name. And they could usually tell your maturity levels. But I'm very lost to that. I wonder if that was her. I remember she was driving a real old beat up Camry, a red Camry, and the car looked like it was probably it probably had like 200,000 miles, like 300,000 miles, and it didn't look like it was well taken care of at all. And but I don't know, still pretty puzzled to it. Why they would have brought her around me may have been because whatever was going around in my life, maybe they were trying to figure out who got her. Because when you get a white girl that's blonde hair like that, and you put her in the porn industry at 19 years old, and it's because she was in Carrollton and something else was going on, people are getting a rage. They get, especially when they're white like that, because they're very seldom that you'll find a pretty girl like that. Blonde, really light-skinned, and really light-colored eyes as well. Porcelain skin, very, very, very pretty and petite, and still thick like her. It was weird because I remember saw her put her feet up on the table, and she had real beautiful feet. She looked like she had been real taken care of, but she was driving a piece of shit car. So she was driving a pretty junk car. But anyway, thought I'd make a video on it. I think that was her. I don't know. I want to say his name was Haley. They told me, they said, oh yeah, her mom worked over there for 20 years, and said that her mom was the one that got her job. Her mom was the one that got her the job over there. I'm pretty sure they were probably asking me questions to figure out, if I had anything to do with it, or what I knew what was going on around, or I think it was her. I don't know why nobody would have told me 11 years down the road. It doesn't really matter now. But I didn't have anything to do with it. I just saw her, and that was just like I've seen several other people. But good to ask questions to try to fight for my life before I die. But I think it's important to think that, people like that have a family. Maybe, you can only last so long in that industry. And, maybe the people that were doing something good to me in my life, that putting my family together, could do something good to your life and your family, and put something together. Or also to get an idea of the reality of the world that we live in, that why this pretty young girl decided herself to go into the porn industry. She had to do unimaginable things and sleep with hundreds of men with gigantic, monster-sized penises, doing crazy scenes on camera. And you have all these people fighting for money, and all these girls that want this and that. That girl paid a very big price for the things that she wanted in life. A very steep price. And she tried, and it was a very brutal, steep price to pay in life. But like I said, think you never know what happens in life, but because all these people are wanting to get famous and do their own singing careers or DJs or whatever it is that they're doing. And here you have someone like that. It's almost kind of like a tragedy, but people make their choices. I understand that part, but I didn't, I'm sure they found out that I had nothing to do with it. But they probably got pissed off at me because there was a lot of attention that's going on, and it was somebody else that did it, but they wanted to put the blame on me. But I don't know, it was a long time ago, and I didn't have anything. I just saw her there, but I know it was her. They said that the reason she got a job over there is because her mom worked there. She said her mom worked over there her mom worked over there for 20 years and got her the job there. I swear that's what she said. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was just somebody that happens to look like her. But I want to say it was her. It was her. There's a chance. I'm going to give it a 10% chance that it wasn't her. Feet, face look exact. Her hair was blonde like the way that I saw her, but she looked younger. Obviously, this is 10, 11. This is 11. This is 12. I saw her 12 years ago, so she's about the same age as me. But when I saw her at the porn industry, she looked like she knew who I was, like the way that she kind of talked, like she was not. I was not a complete stranger to her. Someone had said something to her like, hey, there's a guy coming looking for you, or there's a guy may approach you, just say this and say that and shoo him away, or whatever it is that they tell her. But yeah, I mean, and there was a couple other porn girls I talked to, which I actually had a better conversation with, but I don't know what that entails. I know they were pissed. They were trying to put the finger on me. There's so many people out there in life you want to feel compassion to. But when you do something like that to a white blonde girl, man, they'll come and kill you. I mean, white blonde girl like that, hell no. That's like a gym. Presses gym to people that, especially for white people. It's just like, to me, it's. For a girl to be 19 years old or 20 years old or 18 to get into that porn industry like that looks like her, it's hard for me to think to themselves they didn't make a clear choice, because that girl already was getting a lot of guys hitting on her for a very long time. So she was not efficient. If she was chasing for money like that from the porn industry and willing to do that, she was probably willing to do that with dating a lot of guys and older men already that were willing to dish out money, or free people that are just willing to give her free money that's hidden just to take care of her. Because there's a lot of guys out there, there's a lot of not just guys, but there's a lot of people out there that they give free money to, and lots of free money, just because they like to take care of someone else's life. And it could be a gay guy giving this girl a lot of money, saying, here, just so you have an extra $3,000 every couple of months, and she has a part-time job, but they just give her free money, or if she's obviously getting into the porn industry, her sex life had to have been probably pretty wild already to begin with at some point for quite a number of years before she decided to get into that porn industry. So she had access to that. She had access to guys that were very wealthy and handsome. For a girl like that, she had access to that. But like I said, you just can't control what some people are going to do sometimes. They make their own choices for survival. I don't know really what to think, but I remember very clearly, they said her mom worked there for 20 years. They said when they gave her a job over there. But not saying that they gave her a job in the porn industry. Maybe it is. Maybe they said maybe her mom really did work in the porn industry too. I don't know. But she just said that she'd been working over there for like a year or two, or a couple of years, and she had gotten a job over there because her mom was working over for 20 years. And it may be because it was a trick question, saying that my mom was over there for 20 years, and they went after me. Yeah, they gave you Patricia because your mother was over there. And so then she starts training me, she starts shaking her head. So they already know this information. This is all the gay community at the print shop. I don't think anybody's watching or paying attention. You have to have the straight people that are doing this. This is fucking crazy. I don't know what to say.